Erika Kirk, Shadowy Marriage Scrubbed. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Lesser and mid-range narcissists are unaware narcissists. They make up the majority of narcissists that exist. These narcissists operate in the moment without concern for what has gone before or what will come next. This is something that long-standing viewers of my work will be familiar with. This is why those narcissists invariably end up cutting off their noses to spite their faces, and if you give them enough rope, they will hang themselves. Watch the video of that name to understand more. Essentially, the narcissist will do something in this moment which pursues the prime aims, but is likely to cause a problem for the narcissist hours later, days later, maybe even months later. But the narcissist isn't focused on what will come later. The narcissist is focused on the moment. When that problem later arrives, naturally, the narcissism rejects any accountability for it. And the starting point for that is denial, because that is the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense. In essence, the narcissist will claim, "Oh, that didn't happen like that. You're misremembering. No, I didn't do it." If you present evidence that supports that, that shatters the denial, and therefore the narcissist will attack the evidence itself. For instance, fake news. You've invented that. That's not me in that recording. That's AI, which will be a typical defense of the narcissist given that particular technological adjustment that has occurred in recent years. Naturally, it's far easier for the narcissist to deal with this if the evidence itself disappears. And there are instances where narcissists, particularly where they have later ascended to fame, wealth, and power, require the erasure of problematic things that might be out there from their past. It's been regularly suggested that this one's wife is engaged in such behaviour, ensuring that her dubious past has been scrubbed from the internet as far as possible upon her coupling with the Prince of Pink Pancakes. And there is a suggestion that Erika Kirk is engaged in a similar behaviour. In the turbulent wake of conservative activist Charlie Kirk's assassination on September the 10th of this year, his widow, Erika Kirk, has emerged an unlikely powerhouse. As the newly appointed CEO of Turning Point USA, the organisation her husband founded, she has been thrust into the spotlight, delivering fiery speeches, accepting a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom on Charlie's behalf, and steering the group's conservative youth movement amid national grief and political fervour. Yet her ascent has been marred by a cascade of online conspiracies, which includes claims of a hidden prior marriage to somebody called Derek Chelsvig, a low-profile Iowa financier, and, alongside that, involvement in child trafficking. These rumours exploded across social media in late September, painting Erika as a duplicitous figure, a trad-wife facade masking darker dealings. Well, pausing there, it's also similarly the case that this one's wife has faced allegations of having been married 3 times. Harry, Trevor Engelson, and a young man prior to that. Although that is disputed. But nevertheless, many people maintain that that was the case, and attempts have been made to scrub that from her history. First of all, would it be a surprise to find that a narcissist has been married before? No, of course not, and it's not just narcissists who have more than one marriage, although it's more common because of the capacity that the narcissist has for falling out and destroying relationships and then seeking out somebody new. Furthermore, it wouldn't be a surprise to find a narcissist that might want to keep that marriage hidden in order to present a particular image to the outside world, i.e., that they want their facade to operate unhindered by inconvenient truths from the past. Derek Chelsvig was born in July 1980 in Des Moines, in Iowa. He embodies the archetype of Midwestern anonymity. 45 years old, he maintains a life far removed from the political spotlight that now engulfs Erika Kirk. A financial professional specializing in stock trading and brokerage, he graduated from high school in 1998 and has built a career in Iowa's finance sector, with professional ties extending to Arizona, where Erika's orbit would later intersect. Public records paint him as a philanthropist of quiet means, a high-tier donor to the United Way of Central Iowa's Tocqueville Society, contributing between $25,000 and $49,999 annually to the Ordre de Liberté level, supporting community initiatives without fanfare. He was raised by his parents alongside siblings Elizabeth and Sierra in a middle-class household. No criminal records, no scandals, no social media presence beyond LinkedIn. His footprint is deliberately faint. He relocated intermittently to Arizona for work, possibly in real estate or investment consulting, but details remain opaque, shielded by privacy norms in financial circles. He's been recast, though, as a shadowy enabler, a stockbroker from Iowa, allegedly complicit in international intrigue. In reality, his profile aligns more with a buttoned-up everyman than a trafficking kingpin. Searches yield no arrests, lawsuits, or media mentions predating the 2025 rumours, underscoring his preference for obscurity. But that just be a carefully crafted, shadowy, and opaque facade. The core claims suggest that Erika Franzva, Miss Arizona USA 2012, NCAA basketball alumna from Regis University, and founder of the non-profit Romanian Angels, wed Derek Chelsvig in the early 2010s, thus adopting the surname Erika Chelsvig from roughly 2013 to 2017. During this period, the duo allegedly spearheaded Romanian Angels, a faith-based ministry aiding orphans in Romania. What began as evangelical outreach devolved into an apparent front for child trafficking, funneling vulnerable Eastern European minors to US military bases, elite networks, and even Jeffrey Epstein's orbit under the Obama administration. Proponents of the theory allege the operation exploited Romania's post-communist orphan crisis, partnering with US Marines and Army units at Mihail Koglesniu Air Base, a NATO hub, in Romania, for adoptions that masked exports to the UK, Israel, and undisclosed locales. Erika and Derek, the story goes, were expelled from Romania in 2017 after locals reported missing children, with the ministry shuttered and whispers of Mossad ties via Erika's purported Zionist family, and Epstein connections through her brief stint as a New York real estate agent at the Corcoran Group, which listed Epstein's Palm Beach estate. Post-divorce, she apparently scrubbed her past, rebranding as Charlie Kirk's virginal trad wife in 2019, marrying him in 2021, and birthing 2 children while concealing her unlucky first union. Now, pausing there, it is certainly within the realms of comprehension that a narcissist could get involved in a dubious union which propagates certain behaviours which exhibit a sense of entitlement, interpersonal exploitation, an absence of emotional empathy, and then later, chameleon-like that the narcissist is, seeks to reinvent themselves, thus wanting to scrub the existing marriage and reinvent themselves, as mentioned, as a virginal trad wife, thus creating a new facade which assists in the assertion of control and the drawing of fuel. It's certainly the case that this is something that a narcissist would do. But just because someone is a narcissist, that doesn't mean that they are always going to behave that way. This is another point that's worth making. When we ascertain that somebody is a narcissist, we do so from looking at a range of behaviours over a sustained period of time that support the various criteria for them being a narcissist. Thereafter, we are able to interpret their behaviours through the prism of their narcissism. We are also able to predict certain behaviours on the basis that they are a narcissist, given, for instance, the pathological need for control, the necessity of fuel, etc. However, it's always important to bear in mind that just because somebody is a narcissist, it doesn't always mean that they will do everything that a narcissist does. Sometimes people lose sight of that. In essence, what's happened here is that Erika Kirk was purportedly involved in a dubious shadowy marriage previously, and that she sought to have the details of that scrubbed in order to reinvent herself. These rumours about her past ignited in mid-September 2025, days after Charlie Kirk's shooting at the TPUSA event in Provo, Utah. Speculation morphed into a deluge. It was claimed that Erika and Derek's child trafficking ended at the end of Obama's second term, citing leaked government files from the People's Voice, a site notorious for hoaxes. It was also stated in a viral video from TPV Sean that Erika was a Mossad agent with leaked files exposing her as a groomed operative. There were then numerous Reddit threads which suggested that Erika Franva, her maiden name, was involved with Romanian Angels organisation and that she was linked to US military trafficking scandals, including Colonel Otto Buscher's 2013 conviction for abusing Romanian girls near the base, although there's no direct link to Erika Kirk. It was then the case that Epstein parallels were woven in, her casting director credits in China, and Angels branding echoing Andrew Tate's camgirl ring. There were a number of posts on TikTok and Threads that fueled the fire with scrubbed Google alerts for Erika Chelsvig, suggesting that there had been a cover-up of her marriage. By October, outlets like the Hindustan Times noted the ex-husband theory as a resurfaced conspiracy tied to Erika Kirk's Medal of Freeman ceremony. Accordingly, the suggestion is that she had this first marriage, that it was involved in dubious activity, and then she sought to have this information scrubbed from the internet, and she has represented herself as the virginal trad wife marrying Charlie Kirk. Well, scrutiny reveals these claims as vaporous. Erika Kirk's maiden name is Franzva, but Erika Chelsvig appears in pre-2018 traces and suggests that there was a childless union that was dissolved amicably by 2018. However, no divorce filings have surfaced publicly. Her 2021 wedding to Charlie Kirk is the only confirmed nuptials in bios. The suggestion of a previous marriage is such that there are no photos, no evidence of joint assets, no mutual acquaintances corroborating that there was ever any kind of union. There is a silence, of course, that remains from Derek Chelsvig, who clearly has decided not to provide the rumours with any further oxygen. Essentially, those that have fact-checked have dismissed it as baseless, born from misogyny, targeting Erika Kirk's leadership. The fact is that there is no evidential material that has been surfaced that provides confirmation of this marriage. And once again, it is important to understand that whilst we have established that she is a narcissist as a consequence of looking at substantial evidence, and narcissists do often have more than one marriage, and narcissists may well want to revise history by having the internet scrubbed of unsavoury information which would later pose to be a problem, just because that person is a narcissist doesn't mean that that has necessarily happened. And what has occurred here is that a number of baseless allegations have been made against her in relation to, firstly, an existing marriage, although no actual evidence supports that, and also her involvement in child trafficking, which in an earlier video I pointed out was similarly baseless and had been debunked. Once again, I do this to demonstrate the importance of understanding that just because someone is a narcissist, it doesn't mean that they will always engage in certain behaviours, the importance of going to the evidence, and the fact that invariably many individuals who aren't narcissists and engage in certain dubious behaviours will also find themselves attracting a lot of unsubstantiated allegations by virtue of the fact that it is almost topical to do it. That when somebody gains some prominence and has been called out for certain poor behaviours, for instance, Erika Kirk and her showmanship that she's engaged in, and the lack of tears, but the dabbing of the eyes, the fakery that is associated, all of that, that this drives certain other individuals to then think, okay, we can throw the kitchen sink at her, because people are bound to believe it, because they're already maintaining that she's a faker, that she's performative, etc. So let's chuck in some more on top. And it's important when analysing such individuals that one distinguishes between the circumstances where there's actual evidence and where it's just spurious speculation. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.